Hi, I'm Brian Dunn, and welcome to the most important podcast ever. What makes it so important? It's not about me, it's about you. This podcast is about ordinary people doing extraordinary things, the moments of resilience, the lessons learned, and the small acts that made a big difference. From retail floors to boardrooms, we'll share the untold stories that shape lives and careers. This is a very special episode to me this week because my guest is someone who usually makes these conversations happen. She's a producer on this show and she makes things possible for all of us. It's Angelica Garcia. Angelica is a lifelong lover of books and reading, a bookseller, the host of the wonderful Pages of Ink podcast, a barista at Deja Bleu House of Coffee, a promotional wizard for StreetSide Studio 7, and a talented producer at StreetSide, and a producer of this very show. Angelica is someone who always creates space for others through books, through conversations, and through careful listening. Like many of our guests, her story includes creativity, purpose, and service in moments where life has asked more of her than might seem fair. We'll go where the conversation leads, and I'm really excited to welcome my friend Angelica Garcia to the show. Hi, Angelica.
Hi, Brian. Thank you so much for having me. Well, that was a really good intro.
Well,
I don't even know what else I could add. You hit all the marks.
Did I hit all the marks?
You did.
Thank you very much. Producer speak. I want you to speak like a guest. I guess I'd like to start. One of the things that connected us right away was we share a love. We're both voracious readers.
Yeah.
And I'd love to hear the backstory to how you started.
Gosh, as far as I can remember, like my earliest childhood memories included books. Mom would always bring us to the library, or we would always have books at home, whether I was at home, at my aunt's house, at grandma's house. I was always surrounded by books. So I come from a big family of book readers. So I'm fortunate for that. And gosh, I don't know. It's always been like a nice companion, my books.
That's so interesting because being a big reader myself, my mom was a huge reader, and she gave that love to me at a very early age. Do you have any early memories of reading that stand out?
Yeah, gosh. I remember like elementary school. Going to the library was my favorite part of the day, for sure. I remember just during the hard times having books, always, like I said, a companion, kind of something I can go to that I know has my back all the time, no matter what. Again, mom reading, and she always did voices for the children's books.
That's awesome.
So she always kept my brothers and I engaged and entertained, and it was really fun.
I always found books, and I wonder if this resonates with you, a place of comfort, a refuge when things were difficult or challenging.
Yeah, comfort, refuge. Also, sometimes a distraction. I really like mystery books, thrillers. They're not really, I would never want to be in that book, running from a killer, but it's a good distraction from the real life to go into a different world.
It maybe makes the set of problems you have a little easier.
Exactly, yep.
So one of the hats you wear, you have this really cool bookshop inside Deja Bleu House of Coffee, best cup of coffee in Alexandria. Can you talk a little bit about being a bookseller?
So I started selling my books here at Deja Bleu, my aunt and uncle's business, back in 2017. And that started with a little basket of $1 to $5 books. I would have 7 books in that basket at a time. And then over the years, it grew into over 100 different books in many different genres for all ages, and a mobile used bookstore too. But in between all of that, the little basket to where I am now at Pages of Ink, I also worked at our local indie bookstore here in Alexandria, Cherry Street Books, for it was a little over 3 years. And that was wonderful. I learned so much. I connected to so many like-minded book readers. That was so much fun. Talking to people all day about books. It didn't feel like I was going to work ever.
Yeah. That's awesome. You mentioned the mobile book. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Pages of Ink on Wheels, that started about 2 years ago. This past summer was my official full 3 months out with the mobile unit, and that was so much fun. So it looks like a little Bleu house.
Been there. It's cool. Yep,
It's super cutie. And I have, of course, not as many books as I have here at the downtown shop, but a number of books in a few different genres for all ages, other little book trinkets, knickknacks, gift items, and I pull that to different vendor events, craft shows. This upcoming season, Deja, Bleu, and Pages of Ink plan to do events together quite a bit, so that'll be fun.
And how do you curate what you put in the mobile unit?
Yeah, it depends it's kind of hard sometimes. I try to think, okay, what event am I going to? Who's going to this event? How can I cater to them? For example, Art in the Park. That's a little bit of everything there at that event. The whole community comes, people from other towns come. So I had a little bit of everything that day. Our meat market here in town have an event called Sausage Fest, and I would have, because I've been there a couple years now, so I know the kind of like who's going to that event. So a lot of like hunting books, animal, outdoorsy books, and because of the time of year, summer, a lot of hiking books. Just trying to cater to who's at the event.
I remember stopping by Sausage Fest on my way to the golf course.
Yeah.
And seeing your mobile unit and stopping in and talking to you, and it was like 100 degrees in the
It was
shade
warm,
that day.
yeah.
Oh my goodness! But there you were with the books. Can I ask you a question? How you think about this? Do you think books as a medium, physical books, do you think that's dying?
Physical books, dying? No. I think ever since COVID 2020, books have been kind of coming back, more popular. People were locked inside for so long, kind of getting bored, and they went to books, which is wonderful. But I do think audiobooks are making a big, not necessarily comeback, but I'm hearing a lot of people talk about audiobooks and say audiobooks are reading more than even 5 years ago. Because I would talk to so many people, no, audiobooks isn't reading. That doesn't count.
Right.
When it does.
Of course it counts. Of course it counts.
And then even working here at the coffee shop, there's a number of customers who come in with their Kindle. And I always ask them, because I too have a Kindle, but I like the physical book the best, holding the book, smelling the book. I always ask them why they choose the Kindle over physical. And it's because you can have thousands of books in such a tiny, small device, and you can have it in your bag. It's very convenient.
When I was traveling a ton, I had all my books on my iPad.
Yeah.
Because I could bring 500 books with me. And I could be reading 3 or 4 different books, which I usually am.
Yeah.
And now that I'm not traveling as much, I really like having physical books again. And I'll take a highlighter, I'll mark them up, the passages I like. I just think it's awesome.
Oh, I like to mark my books too.
Do you?
Yep. And when I have a number of books I've listened to that I love so much, I had to go to the store and get the physical version of it because I wanted book readers, or on Instagram and social media, we call them trophies for our shelves. Like if you listen to a book and you liked it so much, go get yourself the trophy from the store.
Yeah. Are you on Goodreads?
I am. I love Goodreads. I love Goodreads because there's so many books I want to read, so many books I have read. I sometimes forget what's what. So I go on my list on Goodreads and it's like, okay, I already read that book. I don't need to buy it.
And do you mark it?
I do.
And is it open to the public? Can people?
Mine is, yep.
And what is yours?
Yeah, it should just be Angelica Garcia. It might be Pages of Ink, but I could send you a message with the correct one.
Please do. And then I could tag it
There we go.
appropriately. You also have a podcast that I love.
Thank you.
Pages of Ink. Oh, I thank you. Loving books. I think it's really good.
Good.
And I really think it's one of the things I love about it is you'll talk about different genres and you won't rush the conversations. You'll really give it a good walkthrough.
Oh, yeah.
And talk a little bit about your
Yeah.
pod.
So the Pages of Ink podcast, all book themed. I try to do every other episode with a guest and then on my own. But yeah, I never have a time limit. So it's funny because you'll find a video that's 6 minutes and the next one is like an hour long.
Right.
But yeah, for example, my last guest was my aunt and we talked about the lovely production we did with you this past December, the Christmas Carol table read. And then we also talked about the book by Charles Dickens and what it means to us and why it has stayed such a thing.
Powerful,
in our culture for, gosh, almost 150 years at this point.
160, I think. Yeah.
But yeah, that's a lot of fun because I get to talk about one of my favorite things, which is books, with either family, friends, or other people who enjoy or love books as much as I do.
I think that is a common thread, a connection point between people. When I find another reader,
Oh yeah.
I got asked today. I was doing a thing over at the Alexandria when you were there, and at the community college, and I got asked what books I was reading, and it was so fun.
Yeah. I
and then-
saw you light up. That
Yeah.
was so cool to see.
And then one of the kids said, "My dad has read all those John Sanford Cray books." And John Sanford, if you're out there, really, really want to have you on. I have read everything you've ever written.
He has a big following here in Alexandria. People love him.
And his stories, most of them take place in the Twin Cities, and he calls out landmarks and stuff like that. When I worked at Best Buy, one of the crimes happened in a Best Buy parking lot.
Cool.
And of course, I loved it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Awesome. So for our listeners, if you love to read, if you love books, you need to check out Pages of Ink podcast with Angelica Garcia because it's awesome. I'm always struck by your sincerity and your love of books and reading and all the things behind it. Are there things that trouble you about reading? Do you find time to do it? That's what troubles me.
I make time. And that's, I make time. I'm all about making time for things I love or care about, things, people, and I get it. Life is crazy sometimes, but when I hear people say, oh, I don't have time to read, it's like, no, you're just not making the time because I get not having time to sit down on the couch, pick up a book, but when I'm driving to the grocery store to work, I'm listening to an audiobook rather than the radio or music, the news. When I'm doing dishes at home, I'm listening to an audiobook. So any chance I get, instead of being in silence or listening to things that are just background noise, I'm actively engaging and listening to a book.
That's really cool. One of the things I struggle with, we're kind of in the golden age of content, aren't we? So episodic television, in my view, has never been better. Podcasts, you can go as deep as you want on the most obscure topics, and it's cut into some of my reading time, and I really struggle with juggling all that.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's not much that I would pick over books.
Yeah.
Like I do enjoy TV, music, video games, but it's like, okay, which one today? And it's always books.
Yeah,
Always books.
That's nice. I always read before I go to bed. It always helps me unwind. But I really want to find more time, and you're inspiring me in that because you've just got to make it a priority.
Audiobooks really did help me because, like I said, I love physical books, but sometimes I just don't have the time. Really do not have the time with work, so it's where can I fit it into my day, and audio listening has helped.
One of the things that's really struck me about you, getting to know you a little bit, is that you're very intentional. You're very purposeful about your time, and you make space for the people you care about. You make space for the projects you care about, and you clearly are making space for reading, which you care about.
Oh yes, for sure.
Have you always been like that? Are you purposeful with your time and intention?
Yes.
Do you agree with that assessment?
I would say so. I mean, like I said, I would say I am one to make time for the things that truly matter to me. But I've gotten better with it over the past year and a half, 2 years or so. But not always. I mean, I'm only 25, but when I was in high school, growing up, still a kid, I didn't always have my focus on the right things or what truly mattered.
Okay. Well, isn't that part of growing up?
Yeah. Now I can look back and like, I understand when my aunt or mom were saying, "You'll grow up, you'll mature one day."
Yeah. And take it from an old guy. There's nothing more precious than time, and how you deploy your time and how you use your time. And there's so many. Time sucks, just rabbit holes that you can fall into now. And I admire your intentionality about all of that.
Thank you.
I really do. So as I've gotten to know you, I've also become aware of some challenges you've faced in your life. And if you're willing, love to hear a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it's funny because today's, let's see, the 22nd. Yeah, tomorrow would be the 1-year anniversary of me getting the second operation of my pacemaker. So we're coming up on a year. Yeah, it's gone by fast, but also very slow at the same time. Slow in the beginning, fast after the summer.
Yeah.
But January of 2025, I was told towards the middle of the month, hey, you need a pacemaker. And it was very out of the blue, didn't have any appointments kind of set up for that because I went to my primary here in town for a totally unrelated appointment. And I dropped off a Holter monitor at that time. And that's just something I wear externally, and it was for, I think, 3-5 days. And it just catches my heart pattern, my rhythm, while I sleep, while I'm awake. So I dropped that off, and then I went out for breakfast with my mom, had the day off, went home and took a nap, and I awoke I ignored a lot of calls while I was napping because I'm like, who's bothering me on my day off? But I woke up to my mom, and it was her like, hey, and I know my mom, of course, I could tell something was wrong. But she was also trying to stay calm. She's like, hey, sweetheart, I need you to pack a bag. I'm here outside to pick you up. We have to go to St. Cloud. I'm like, why? And we have family in St. Cloud. I'm like, what happened? What's wrong? She's like, you need a pacemaker. And I thought I was still dreaming. I roll out of bed, and I feel like I'm about to faint. And I'm like, Mom, what? And she's like, yeah, just come down. So let's rewind a little bit back to when it was the summer before kindergarten, so I was 4 or 5.
So 20 years ago.
Yeah, about 20 years ago was when I first started fainting. And I say fainting because that is what we called it up until last year, because I was misdiagnosed as a 5, 6-year-old with vasovagal syncope, which is a fainting disorder, low blood pressure, but again, misdiagnosed and kind of just pushed off for 20 years because I would faint for sure every year. But as I grew, like through middle school, junior high, high school, I would start fainting almost every
Was there
month.
a pattern to it?
See, we thought I had triggers, which I did. Heat, pain. I remember there's a basketball game. I broke my elbow and I fainted on the court, and it was it was horrible. But pain, heat, being overly tired, and now knowing everything we knew, it was kind of more just, we're not making an excuse for it, but we were at a loss. Like the doctors were like, "Oh, it's normal. You'll grow out of it." But for 20 years, I wasn't growing out of it, and it was just complete blackouts. I never saw it, of course, but hard, out cold, body very stiff and hard. My eyes would roll back. We thought it was seizures for the longest time, but that was ruled out. I would sometimes shake, sometimes. My eyes would, it was bad, and I couldn't see or talk or even communicate after coming to again for a while. And
Would they come on suddenly?
I think so. Like I would feel them coming on. It was like a full body feeling I would get, and my vision would start to go black, like tunnel vision, and then I'd see multicolored circles everywhere. And then the next thing I knew, I was waking up. But so I knew they were coming every single time, and I would try to lower myself to the ground. There was like 3 times that I was not fast enough, and I would give myself a black eye or crack my head open, but usually I'd have enough time, but not always. And I would, as I got old enough to drive, I would always think, gosh, what's going to happen? Like I can feel them coming, but how fast? I mean, what are the circumstances? What if I can't pull over? What's going to happen?
Right.
I don't want to hurt somebody.
Of course.
And every time I would go to the doctor after fainting, because they looked scary, is what I heard. Mom would want to bring me in. They kept saying, like, you'll grow out of it, but you might get your license taken away before then. So it was scary to hear that.
For sure.
And then to be told that nothing can really be done about it. Vasovagal syncope, but it wasn't that. So it ended up being...
So for 20 years?
Yeah.
Close to 20 years?
Close to 20
That's
years.
what you thought?
Mm-hmm. And it became just a normal part of my life, really. Like there was... The year before getting the pacemaker, I was fainting multiple times a month, and perhaps just life situations at the time added to it, but it was so often. And I knew something was off, and then, I don't know, it used to be, okay, if I don't faint for a month, or if I only faint once a month, that's weird. But then it was like every week. And it was horrible. I'd be exhausted for days after, like physically, mentally, emotionally exhausted. But come to find out, it's just those fainting episodes weren't fainting episodes. And it not only happened while I was awake and then would black out, but it happened a lot, like to happen more so when I was sleeping. And it's just my heart would stop beating completely, just flatline. And the full body reaction or feelings I would get was when my heart would start to slow down. And then, of course, once it's completely not beating was when I'd black out. It was very interesting seeing all the...
What brought you back what happened when you were sleeping?
God, probably. Honestly, I don't know. Because you couldn't shake me awake. You couldn't...
Really?
Nothing. I would come back on my own. And I would be able to hear first. And my eyes were always open, but I wouldn't be able to see for quite a while. And again, trying to unclench and untense my body took a while too. And there was times I was in the shower and I was all like folded up in the shower. It was painful. I'm very surprised I didn't hurt myself beyond a black eye and a cut open head.
How did you move off the wrong diagnosis? Excuse me. Sorry.
So my mom wanted me to be put on medicine for the fainting because it was getting so bad. And for that, we needed a referral. We thought it was a brain thing. We wanted a referral to neurology.
Right.
And we were going to get a tilt table test done, and that's why they put that think it was 3-day Holter monitor on in order to get that referral. And with the Holter monitor, they saw that it was all a heart problem, not a brain problem. And they saw throughout the nights that my heart would stop. So they right away wanted to put a pacemaker in. The doctor decided to put a loop recorder in my chest first. And the intent with that was to study more. And he said, yeah, hopefully you'll have this in for like about a year, 3 years. We'll get all the data we need. It was 2 or 3 days later that I fainted twice, back to back. I never fainted back to back before. And it was excruciating. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. I was in bed too, laying down, which never happened. Like me laying down is usually what would get the episode away.
Right.
But it was horrible. I don't know why it started happening so much towards the end, but I'm glad I have the pacemaker now. A year later, have not fainted again. It's come with its own problems because I had horrible complications after the first surgery. Both leads went through the bottom of the heart, perforated it. I can't pronounce it, I don't think correctly, pericarditis. So there was, my heart was, there. Your heart is, I learned so much throughout all of it. Your heart is surrounded by a thin sac-like membrane.
Yep.
And my heart, in between the heart and my membrane, it was being filled with blood. So my heart, there was no space for it to beat. And that pressure and pain in my chest, and then to be told, oh, you were going into cardiac arrest. It's not like the movies. It is so painful. Right. It is so painful.
Right.
I never experienced pain like that in my life. Even just the initial surgery itself was fine compared to the pain that the complications brought. But 3 days after that, they redid the surgery, redid the leads, and I've been good. Physical therapy was a game changer for me, for sure.
And you're young.
Yeah.
To have this all play out. And I want to know, how has it changed your perspective? Has it changed your perspective on life?
I would like to say I took care of myself before the pacemaker, but I realize just because I'm young, being young doesn't, we're not invincible.
That's right.
We still can get sick, we can get hurt, our bones break, just like our parents' bones break. We're not invincible, and we got to take care of ourselves, because even just being 25, it's like what I do now is going to help me when I'm 30. And what I do when I'm 30 is going to help how I feel, all the cracks when I'm 40, hopefully. But that has changed.
No,
I'm
hopefully
trying to
about it. No, hopefully about it.
I've been trying to take care of myself more and just be more mindful of like what I'm putting in my body, trying to sleep better, take care of my heart even, trying to take more vitamins, just really taking care of myself, because it's not just the face mask every now and again, doing my makeup all nice. Self-care is so much more than just that.
For sure. And has it changed your long-range plans or objectives?
Somewhat. I would like to go to school to be an EMT this fall. And I wanted to this summer, but it was too soon, of course. Maybe if I didn't have the complications. But now, even being a year out, feeling good, I wonder if having the pacemaker is going to hold me back, because just the mundane tasks I do throughout my day, sometimes I get pain. And I can't be a liability with such a important job.
Right.
So I think about that, but then I remind myself, well, just you're still in the healing phase. Take care of yourself. Hopefully that will come. Get strong again.
That's right.
Because there was months where I wasn't moving for like at all. I lost a lot of weight recovering, a lot of muscle. So it was hard.
I remember when you came back. And I thought, my goodness, this young woman's been through a lot.
Oh, it sucked. It was 4 surgeries within 3 days. No, 4 surgeries within 5 days. And it just the going under. I don't know. Every time I would wake up, I would be like very sad. And they said, going under all like so often within such a short amount of time, you may be a little depressed, but they weren't kidding.
It's really common.
Yeah,
when
they
people go
weren't
under.
kidding. I never heard or experienced that, and it was weird.
As you came back, and I started to say, I saw how you looked like you'd been through a lot, and then I could see your color coming back, and you being stronger and stronger. And it was so great to see. Do you do you worry about it? Are you afraid about it? Do you mind my asking
Yeah,
that?
not at all. I am not, sometimes because of the complications, when I feel a really big pinch, it's like, oh, what was that? Did the lead pop out again?
Yeah.
But then also it's, I know how it feels, so no, I'm fine. Like I know what that pain would be like, and that's not it. It doesn't. If anything, if I feel a little down about it or want to have a little pity party, like I'm only 25 and I have a pacemaker, I remind myself I'm never supposed to faint again. That horrible fear. Yes, I could hurt myself, but hurting somebody else, I never have to worry about again.
Yeah. And don't you think too, I think, because when I heard about this, I started to do a lot of research and reading about pacemakers. I know a lot about pacemakers now. And that technology is improving every year. Who knows what we'll have in 5 years?
Yeah. I do get nervous because they have to replace the batteries. And mine should stay alive for another 10 years, but they'll have to reopen, take it out. I get nervous, but that's, again, a problem for 10 years from now. And like you said, who knows what the technology will be like, because even someone I know who got a pacemaker a couple years ago, he needed to have a black box with it, and mine is completely connected to my cell phone. So I don't need to carry a toolbox looking thing with me everywhere.
So it's like an app.
Yeah. It really is.
Your heart is an app.
Pretty much, yep.
Oh my gosh. Are there things, have you had to change your life plan?
Life plan, no. I'm, of course, always aware of it, and it's now, it's something I need to think about when I do continue to plan for my future. For example, if I ever have babies one day, your heart grows, I think it's 30% throughout a pregnancy. How is that going to move and shift my wires and leads and everything in there? So it's just things like that that I never would have thought about. And I'm not having babies anytime soon, but it's like, wow, I always have to remember, which it's not easy or hard to forget, but it's like I have a pacemaker. That always needs to be a thing. Even going to the dentist, I needed to tell everyone I talked to, like, hey, I have a pacemaker. They couldn't do the x-rays they wanted to. They couldn't even use the typical tools that they would use on me, to clean my teeth. Yeah.
Interesting. Do you think about it all the time?
Not all the time. It's getting better. I am very aware of it because they say as I gain weight, as I'm healing, I should be less aware of it. But by being skinny with it, it's just like there's nothing around with the same shape, but it's a big, thick metal box. I feel it rubbing when I move my left side.
So you can physically feel it.
Even just sitting here, like my clothing, I can feel it. So I'm constantly aware of it, constantly. It just doesn't annoy me or bother me anymore. I'm getting used to it.
And you're only a year out.
Yeah.
You're only a year out. And thank you for being so forthright with that story, because there are people out there, I'm sure, dealing with something similar, and it's just so great to hear about it. What has all this taught you about navigating tough moments? Because that's a tough moment, Angelica.
That was all really tough. Not only physically, emotionally, but just seeing my family, how it affected them. And yeah, I'm the one being poked by all the doctors, but I don't like seeing my family sad. But I don't know. I try not to take anything for granted anymore, because thinking back to, all those quote unquote fainting episodes weren't necessarily fainting episode. It was my heart stopping. That could have been it.
Yeah.
And look at everything that has happened even just in this past year. So I'm so thankful that I've got to experience all of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And do you know what? I think this is a great place for us to hit pause. And we're also thankful, all the people around you who care about you, that you're back and you've gotten so strong. You have such a lovely way about you, and you make every circumstance better by your very presence. So we're thrilled to have you as part of this show, and I'm thrilled to have you as a friend. Angelica, thank you so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And being so giving of your story. I think it's really fabulous. That's it for this episode of the most important podcast ever. I want to thank our good friend Angelica Garcia for being so brave and sharing her story with us. And I especially want to thank all of you for watching. And I want to thank all of our friends at StreetSide Studio 7, and thank our hosts, Deja, Bleu House of Coffee. You can find us on our YouTube channel, and you can find us wherever you get your podcasts. And please check out Pages of Ink. It's a great podcast, I'm telling you. Take care, everybody.